welcome back. And so we talked to you in the last session about minimal encourages and eye contact for improving communication. So today I want to talk to you about paraphrasing. So if you're listening to someone and you're listening to them well, chances are some people are going to keep talking for quite some time. And you might think, yeah, are they ever going to stop or whatever? But sometimes people need to be allowed that time to just speak. And I think some of us maybe are better at listening than others, and sometimes this is something that we need to practice even within relationships, like with our spouse, or even with our children, to take time to listen. And so we've talked about those two steps that might help us to be able to improve the communication. And now if we look at paraphrasing, it's the idea of listening to the content of what they've talked about and being able to pull out some key points out of what they've talked about. So let's say I tell you about my day, and I went to the beach and I had a really nice walk on the beach and the sun was shining, and then I got in my car and then someone drove out in front of me. That was so annoying. And then I went to the shop and there was a bunch of people waiting in the queue, and it seemed really busy, and that took longer than I wanted, and then I was behind on my schedule, and then I caught up with my friend for a cup of coffee, and that was really lovely, and we had a nice time. Okay, so I've just said a bunch of things. I could paraphrase that in a shortened version, like, oh, okay, so you had quite a busy day, it sounds like, and you went to the beach, and it was nice that you were able to catch up with your friend, but it sounds like there was a couple of challenging things where shops, it was a bit busy, and that sort of thing. So okay, that sounds like it's been a busy day for you. So I've just paraphrased a shortened version of it. I pulled out a few important key points of that, and then from there you might say something like, depending on the context and if you're having a deep and meaningful conversation, whether it's with a spouse or that sort of thing, about and so how do you feel now that you've finished your day or whatever, and allow the person to then be able to continue talking or whatever. But sometimes just by paraphrasing it allows the people to continue talking. And so I think this is especially important if it's a conversation where there might be some deep and meaningful matter that really needs to be able to be explored. Where if you were thinking about the next thing to say, you wouldn't have heard half of that, and you'll probably miss it all. And by you even taking that time to just repeat those few key elements in that paraphrase, it allows you to be able to think of them, kind of remember them, I guess, more clearly, so that you can then go on to use that maybe later on in the conversation, or if it is say something that's a conversation with a spouse, it might allow you to then be able to open up some extra conversations as a result of that, of getting down a bit deeper and talking about feelings and things like that. So take those steps. We've talked about eye contact, we've talked about the minimal encourages, and now we've talked about paraphrasing. So I hope that helps you with your communication. Take care. Bye-bye.